Good afternoon, and after the board meeting, Ginger has promised to do a performance for us on the dance floor, so we'll be looking forward to it, Ginger, in your Dragon Lady costume. And to my understanding, Matt's back there, so you'll be doing the performance with Matt, to my understanding. At least he's not in drag today. Janice, would you like to do roll call?
President Davidson,
Present.
Vice President Ricketts,
Present.
Secretary Kincaid, present, Treasurer Hahn,
Present.
Director Argot,
Present.
Director Hector, absent, Director Sauvé,
Present.
Director Setzer. You have a quorum.
And I'll call the meeting to order, and we please rise for pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As this is a special board meeting, the only items which can be discussed are the items listed on the agenda that was sent out. Those items are the board's approval of transfer amounts budgeted for the land trust, the approval of the 22-23 land trust budget, and the approval by the board of the 22-23 Federation Board of Directors budget. Therefore, Ginger, I assume you want Roger from the FEC to discuss the approval of the transfer of amounts budgeted. Roger, I'll call on you as a member of the RFEC for what you are proposing. Okay. I will say ahead of time that none of the dragons I carved in my clay have glasses on, so it's really a difficult thing. Do they have wings? They all have wings and nice thorny legs and things. But anyway, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the Federation Board. Okay, I am proposing to delay the capital project of the main clubhouse lobby and hallway tile floor replacement that is scheduled this current fiscal year of 21 and 22 to the fiscal year of 22 to 23. This project encompasses 21,000 square feet, including the lobby bathrooms, northeast hallway, and northwest hallways. The reasoning for this change is due to the timing challenges we are facing as we are coming closer to season and more social events are being scheduled. The project is estimated to take 4 to 6 weeks for the lobby and 4 to 6 weeks for the hallways, with an estimated total of 8 to 12 weeks. In addition to the timing challenges, we also have several large events coming up in the near future, including the Perk reopening, Taste of the Holidays event, winter series shows, as well as other residential holiday-related room rentals, etc. The approved budgeted amount for this project is as follows. Main clubhouse lobby and hallway replacement project of $256,763. The proposed scope of work for the tile floor replacement is after evaluation of the existing flooring and the moisture vapor barrier deterioration of the foundation. The various elements of the project were determined and multiple estimates bids were obtained. The following scope of work is recommended. Floor prep and removal of existing crack suppressant membrane. installation of commercial-grade vapor barrier to subfloor, replacement of all tile flooring in the designated areas, installation of new grout, installation of shoe molding. The following vendors offer these bids: 6K Construction, which includes recommended installation of moisture and vapor barrier of $236,500. Rogers Group Construction includes recommended installation of moisture vapor barrier of $276,500. Dynamic Property Services Incorporated includes recommended installation of moisture and vapor barrier, $285,400. Our recommendation is to delay this project to the next fiscal year and commence in 22 to 23 fiscal year after April 1st. The tile floor replacement project can then be completed in coordination with the projects slated for the 22-23 capital plan, such as repainting of hallways, wallpaper, decor, and window treatments. This way, the areas are shut down one time, minimizing the impact of residents and their enjoyment of the amenities. The Federation will determine if the capital funds for the main clubhouse lobby and hallway tile floor replacement project, which are currently in the 21-22 budget, will be moved to the capital reserve account by formal action of the Federation Board and to be earmarked for the replacement of the main clubhouse lobby and hallway tile floor replacement until the project commences during the 2022 to 23 budget year. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. I would move that the board take the $256,763, which is in the current year budget, move it to the capital operating reserve account, which has been established, and that it is earmarked specifically to be used for the replacement of the main clubhouse lobby and hallway tile flooring in conjunction with the proposals for the North Clubhouse work that will be done in the 22-23 budget year. I have a second to that motion. Thank you, Ryan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Then the $256,763 currently in the operating account, cash account, will be moved to an operating cash reserve account and specifically earmarked for the tile floor replacement in the 22-23 budget year. Roger, I'll again call on you from the RFEC to go over the proposed recreational facilities budget recommendations for the land trust for the 22-23 budget year.
Thank you. The creation of the trust budget begins in July, and after a COVID-impacted year and a half, the management team reported numerous challenges in determining when the world, or what the world would look like 12 to 18 months into the future of 22 to 23. The team had to make some assumptions in creating the plan. Typically, operating expenses are determined by historical performance and adjusted for known variables. However, COVID continues to impact historically predictable usage. They evaluated the last 12 months run rate, which contained 3 COVID-impacted quarters and a more normal but light quarter as comparison data. Ultimately, the future trust budget is based upon a forecast of a post-COVID world returning to a more normal first quarter, a typically slow summer, and a normal usage for the third and fourth quarter. Regarding the revenue-generating areas, they are not profit ventures, but rather are used to help offset the assessment. The assumption was made that these revenue-generating areas would be back to a more normal capacity and usage. We are presenting a healthy increase in food and beverage and special events revenue of 18.3%. The spa and salon has stayed relatively status quo on the budget forecast as current year. Operations will be impacted by the state of Florida that increased the minimum wage to $10 per hour on September 30th, 2021, and then on September 30th, 2022, the minimum wage will again increase to $11 an hour. This represents a 9.3% increase to the wage and burden expense line. Industry-wide expenses are increasing in various areas such as food and beverage products, chemicals, insurance, etc. Normal operating expenses will not change much. Items such as housekeeping, supplies, utilities, and pool chemicals, but expenses related to revenue areas will, and they have been adjusted accordingly. Finally, adequate recreational improvements are budgeted per the reserve study, as we have a fiduciary duty to protect our assets as reinforced by the loan agreement covenants. In summary, the RFEC and the Federation Board met with Vesta Management and decided on a strategy to keep a reasonable and manageable assessment in the upcoming year, in addition to a heavy replacement schedule as required by the reserve study. Bottom line, in our trust budget, REC will show a $5.48 price per unit increase. Security will show a 28-cent per unit increase. And transportation will increase slightly by 7 cents. The property replacement project schedule is $1,623,648, and a reserve assessment for future replacement projects is $1,182,669, or $17.61 per unit. The total net for the trust budget is an increase of $5.83 per unit. The Recreational Facilities Executive Committee has reviewed the 2022-23 trust budget for recreation, security, and transportation, and feel the $5.83 per unit increase is warranted, reasonable, and sound, and recommend a motion for approval to send to the trust budget for 22-23 as presented to the Federation Board for consideration. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the trust budget for 22-23 as presented by the RFEC? Thank you, Tom. Can I have a second? Any discussion? Any questions? Seeing no discussion or question, I will call the question. All in favor of approving the budget as presented to the board by the RFEC, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Then the budget is approved and it will be forwarded to First Service. So First Service can include the increase of $5, total increase of $5.83 into the current budget for next year, or for the budget for next year. That takes us to the proposed Federation Board budget for the 22-23 year. Alan, I'm going to turn over to you, and it might be easier if you do it, and I know you probably don't want to do it from the podium.
No, it would not be easier.
Go ahead, because it's on the screen. Is it going to be on the screen?
It's on the screen. It will be on the screen, although I apologize ahead of time because this is not the format that's really good for being large so that you can really read it. So you probably will have a hard time reading some of this. But the good news is that the Federation Board will approve that, and then the membership will get copies of this, and it will be approved by the membership at the membership meeting in November. So you'll have plenty opportunity to see it. So This budget, we look at history, look at what we spent. Most recently is most valuable information we have. We have half of this year now results to look at that we can glean from to see what happened. We also look at what's coming up and what we anticipate the needs are. So the Federation is proposing a budget that is slightly more than last year, but the assessments needed from the associations is almost half the assessment required last year. The Federation budgeted revenue approved last year to finance the 21-22 year was $166,099, but only $82,402 from assessments at $1.24 per unit per month. We also had then $83,397 in transfers, $62,799 from registration fees, and $20,899 from current assets. Now, this year's budget we propose for the 22-23 year is $185,685, but that's composed of only $43,092 in assessments at only 65 cents per unit per month, and $142,593 in transfers from the registration fee fund. So the assessments will be actually $39,310 less than last year. It's actually a 47.6% reduction from $1.24 per unit per month to 65 cents per unit per month. Now again, I mentioned the Federation budget document will be sent to each president with the November 3rd membership budget meeting packet. Please look over it, and please send any questions about the budget to Ma Bell. And you should have her email, maria.corcuera, C-O-R-C-U-E-R-A, @fsresidential.com. We value your questions, and we also want to have time to fully research and provide full answers to any of your questions and concerns about the budget at the November membership meeting. So let me just go to the next page and talk about some of the specifics here. Of course, our legal fund, we're required to have $25,000, which we have. That is, there are two, the AC administrative codes, AC1 and AC2. Legal fund's one of them, to provide $25,000 to assist any association in defense costs above and beyond what their director's insurance would provide. So that's the legal fund, that just stays there, it's there, it stays there. The other one is the insurance deductible fund, right about in the middle. That's AC2. That also is a fund that's set up to help associations with property insurance claims. If you have a property claim, the property insurance claim, again, this year is back up to $5,000 deductible. You will have to pay $4,500, I'm sorry, you'll have to pay $500 of that. This fund is set up to cover $4,500 of the $5,000 deductible for you. So, let me just, I'll get to the insurance deductible later. So the professional services fund, the present year, 21-22 budget of $72,947 included, again, $50,148 from assessments at 76 cents per unit per month, and $22,799 transferred for registration fees. But the new year for professional services fund will be a budget of $169,950. That includes $43,092 from assessments at 65 cents per unit per month, and $126,858 transferred from registration fees. The next item, as you see, grounds cleanup, and we have, well, last year we did have some money in there. There now is a $50,000 balance, which is what we like to have. That is there, again, to protect the associations in case of any issue we have. We have had in the past from hurricanes and various things that need some money for cleanup. So that money is there. The landscape fund also, there's currently $50,000 in there, and that also is there to protect associations for items that are not covered in the landscape, the bulk contract, some things that might happen, and they have in the past. And I'll talk more about that again, but there's $50,000 there to protect the associations for that. The next item is the insurance deductible fund. And insurance deductible fund, it includes, last year's included $5,300 from assessments. The Federation, again, matches the actual cost of contracts and liability exposure to the assessments allocated to each association. There are 4 associations in Kings Point that do not participate in the bulk property insurance. Therefore, these 4 associations will not pay into the insurance deductible fund since they cannot reap any of the benefits of this fund. Therefore, assessments, any assessment for this fund are divided by the 109 associations with 5,356 total units who have the bulk property insurance. And again, this is similar to like the garbage. There are only some associations that have to have dumpsters, and they pay for the dumpsters. The other associations don't pay for those because it doesn't apply to them. So that's similar to what this insurance deductible fund is for those 4 associations. So the next item is the community promotions fund. In the new year community promotions fund revenue budget of $10,226 includes 0 from assessments and the $10,226 transferred from registration fees. The new operating expenses budget of $5,509 again includes 0 from assessments because that money was transferred over, or will be transferred over from the registration fees, from the transfer fees. So the total of the 22-23 budget proposal of $185,685 includes $43,092 in assessments, or 65 cents per unit per month. That's a 47.6% reduction from last year, and the $142,593 will be transferred from the transfer fees. Let me then just go on to explain a little bit more, because there's explanations of what these funds covered, and I'll just go through. Again, the professional services fund that was established in December of 2018, used by the Federation for professional services that it needs. Mainly legal expenses have been come out of that, but also CPA expense for the audit and any other professional services that might need, architect, engineer, consultants, or whatever. We are adding 2 additional things that I'll explain in a minute. Let's see, there are a number of lawsuits going on, unfortunately, 3, 4, maybe even 5. There are landscape, all 4 landscape contracts will be up, of course, the mulch contract, the pest control contracts end in 2023, so we'll be working on that. Possible cable TV that ends in 2023. So there's some contracts that will be worked on with professional, that'll need legal fees and from professional services fund. Now, we also added this year $16,600 to the professional services fund for 2 new items. We're adding $15,000 for a work order system. This will be the license to get a new system. I know the landscape committee is looking at upkeep, maybe partnering with the Master Association to use the upkeep system for the landscape communications. And that would, again, cost $15,000, so we added that money there. Also to improve landscape communications with the landscapers and the vendors, we're adding $1,600 for the iAuditor system, the license to operate that system. And of course, I talked about the grounds cleanup and the landscape funds and actually the insurance deductible funds. I don't need to say more about that. Community promotions fund, operating expenses. I'm not sure I need to say much more about this. So this is the budget that is approved. It was reviewed by the landscape committee. I know the Federation Board, we have looked at that and discussed this as well. So this is the one that I'm recommending for approval.
I have a motion to approve the recommended budget by the treasurer of the Federation from the board. Thank you, Tom. I have a second. Thank you, Ryan. Any discussion? Any questions? Hearing no discussion or questions, I will call the question of the board to approve and propose to the membership the budget as proposed by Treasurer Hahn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And Treasurer Hahn, the budget has been approved by the board, and Ma Bell, you'll be sending this out at least 15 days prior to the meeting as required, correct? The budget has to go out 15 days, correct, Alan? It's gotta go out by. So what day are you sending it out? Monday? Okay, so it will be sent out to the members on Monday, November 1st, so they will have it more than 15 days before the November 19th meeting, of which it is requested to be approved, correct? Okay. Seeing there is no other business on the agenda, I will offer a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Ellen. Can I have a second? Thank you, Ryan. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The meeting is adjourned.